Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ben Lomond TV, the cooking show, Cooking with the Coach. I'm Jerry Lowry, and this is Doug Randolph. They've took us out of the ball field and took us out of the broadcast booth, and they put us behind the counter. We're going to today have some cooking with the coach, if you will. We're going to throw together some taco quesadillas. We're going to have a low-carb breakfast muffin. I say that word muffin lightly because there's no bread at all in it, and I think you really enjoy it, and it's real easy to make, especially for you all that are in a rush for breakfast. And then we're also going to have some hot fudge pudding cake that we've been making at my house for about 25 years. It's really a good thing. We're going to get started here, Doug, and we're going to take off with it real quick. And the first thing we want to do is get this meat. We're going to start the taco meat early, so I'm going to turn the oven on, and we're using 2 pounds of meat. 1.5 to 2 pounds is what you want to do, and then we want to get that frying up real good and start it. And I'm just going to crush it down and we're going to brown this. And as this meat is browning, we're going to do some other things, and we'll keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't burn or anything like that. And this is just your standard. This is the 80%, 20% beef, and that's what we're using. Doug, welcome to Cooking with the Coach.
Jerry, it's good to be here. I appreciate you inviting me. I look forward to even working with you on your recipes here, especially the fudge pudding.
There you go. It's always good. It's always good for that. Let's get started with this. While this is cooking, and you can watch it and see it as it goes. We're going to start this. I call it low carb muffin, but it's really not a muffin. What we're going to use is, first off, just some ham. You can use a lot of different stuff, and I'm using a muffin pan. That's why I call it a muffin. This one's well seasoned. My wife said you need to wash it. Well, hey, it's well seasoned. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All you cooks that have a good seasoned pan, that's what we use. And what you're going to do is we're just going to take this ham and just set it and stack it inside and form a little cup. Doug, we're going to do 2 or 3 of these, so if you want to jump in there with that. And 3 or 4 slices is fine, 2 or 3, whatever your heart desires. You can't mess this up. There's nothing you can do to mess this up. So we're gonna make this whole pan full and throw these in here. And then what's going to happen? You just stack them in, form a little cup, and that's all we're doing with that. Now the next thing, we're going to take an egg. We're going to crack some eggs in here, Doug, and we're just going to crack it open and drop it in the middle of that. That's all we're going to do. We've got 6 of them here, so I can count 1 through 6. And so here we go. We're just going to crack it, and I'm going to open it up and dump it in there. That's exactly what we're doing. And we're going to do that with all 6 of them. The one thing about this, as we put it in the oven shortly, you can't, depending on how you want your eggs, if you like them a little runny, then you cook it for 3 or 4 minutes. You might have to experiment. Sometimes different ovens have a different temperature base, if you will. And so the next thing we're going to do, once we have the egg in there and you see it, we're going to take a little cheese and just sprinkle it on it. That's all we're doing, just a little cheese. You can see that on each one of them. A little shredded cheese, you can shred your own, or you can buy it shredded, however you want to do it. That's up to you. The next step, Doug, if you will, just take some of the bacon bits and just sprinkle on the top of it. And you'll see that this is real easy. If you want to get creative and you like the onions and the green peppers for breakfast, then you want to add them as well. You can't mess this up. It's really a neat, easy thing to do. As a matter of fact, you can even make this in the microwave if you have a microwavable little egg bowl, if you will, or some kind of cup. So, all right, now Doug, we're gonna turn this thing on here, and we're gonna put it in the oven for about 7 minutes at 350 degrees, and we're just gonna set this in there. And once we have this cooking, we'll keep an eye on it, but we're really not going to worry about it. Like I said, it's gonna cook. It's gonna cook the egg in there. Everything, the cheese is all gonna melt up. If we can get this bad boy going right here and get this meat starting to cook, which it's let's see if it's going on. There we go. We crank it up. There we go. We finally got Technology is a wonderful thing if you know how to use it. But we've got the hot plate. It's going and we'll let that meat continue to cook. All right, now, what we're going to do now is start the hot fudge pudding, because it's got to cook in the microwave for 7 to 10 minutes. Once again, microwaves are different. We're going to set ours at 7 shortly while the muffins are cooking and the meat is browning. We're going to start the microwave. Where's my microwave bowl at, Doug? There it is. All right. So what we want to do with this hot fudge pudding is this. The first thing we want to add is 3/4 cups of flour. We have already pre-measured everything, and we're going to do that. Also, while we're working on this, Doug, you can almost start getting some of that stuff for the taco season, the pico sauce, and start chopping some of the cilantro. We've got a little jalapeno going to go into it. It's all going to, as we do our taco seasoning, he can chop that up in little bits, and we'll set it off to the side when we're ready to go. We've got the meat is browning pretty good. I'm going to move this around a little bit every now and then and let that continue to cook. It's going to start smelling pretty good in here, but you can see that. Also, the hot fudge, back to the hot fudge pudding. Got a lot happening in this kitchen this morning. Also, with the 3 cups of flour, I want to add 1/2 cup of sugar. Just 1/2 cup of sugar, and we've already got it pre-mixed out. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. 2 tablespoons of cocoa, unsweetened cocoa. You can't go wrong with that. We've got that in there, and Doug, if you'll throw that in the microwave and just warm it up. You're also going to need, we need 1/4 cup of melted butter. We're going to melt it in the microwave. We're going to mix that up and get that started. What we're going to do is mix this up and have this in a baking. Then we're going to make a sauce that goes with it. Then we're going to throw it into the oven. Doug, this meat is looking pretty good right now.
Everything's looking good.
We're going to keep this thing. This is a neat little gadget that kind of keeps the meat separated. If you're doing ground beef and things like that, then it's real easy to just keep it separated instead of keeping it all, for lack of a better word, chunked up. So you can keep it like that, and we'll just keep continuing on with that. Now, the next thing we want to add in here is 1/3 cup of milk. We've got our milk here all measured out. And I'm using whole milk when I use desserts and things like that. It seems like whole milk works a little better. And then the 1/4 cup of melted butter going into here, and it's already looking pretty good. Now we're going to just mix this up. As Doug is chopping and slicing and dicing, we don't need one of those gadgets. I've got Doug, and he's slicing, dicing the stuff up. We got a little cilantro, we got tomatoes, a little jalapeno sauce. You're going to see that this is going to turn out pretty good, and it's making like a almost a brownie sauce, if you will. And it's going to be all in the microwave in a second. And there's one little trick that we've got to make sure as you do this. If you do this at home, then you need to not stir the sauce when we put it in, and we'll make that up just in a second. So we're stirring this up pretty good, trying to get it mixed up. You can use a mixer if you want to. I don't usually, because this is just pretty easy to do. This is an easy way to go about it. You don't have to spend a lot of time, and really it's made in one bowl instead of a mixer and then pouring it into something else. So I like easy, and I like less clutter, if you will. Don't have a lot of stuff that's dirty all the time, you know, clean up and things like that in our lives, and we're so busy with schedules, and if you got a family, ball games and things going on at school and all kind of stuff. So time factors a lot of times a good thing. We're looking at inside the oven at and it's still cooking, and we're rolling good with that right now. I'm just going to make sure that that's rolling on. We're still cooking, and it looks like the cheese is melting a little bit, and that's a good thing. All right, as we continue to stir this up, like I said, we got a lot going on. We got hot fudge cake being made. We got muffins in the oven, low-carb muffins, and we got this meat right here browning. It won't take long to make the taco quesadillas once we get this meat all good and browned up and finished. And you want to make sure that it's all well and done, just for health and safety purposes. That's what they say. Back when many years ago, Doug, I remember working out many years ago. We ate raw eggs, and we didn't worry about any of the safety things and stuff that now takes place. But anyway,
a lot has changed.
A lot has changed. This crazy world we live in at times. All right. Now, if you'll notice, I'm taking this and I'm just spreading it out a little bit and kind of making it even around the bowl. And I'm just going to set that off. And now we're going to make the sauce that goes with it. So I'm just going to set that right now off to the side, and we're going to make the sauce. Now the sauce, we take 3/4 cup of sugar, already measured out. 1/4 cup of cocoa. You gotta love the chocolate. Who doesn't love the chocolate? And then, Doug, I've asked you to heat me up 1 cup of hot water. 1 cup of hot water.
See if that's hot enough.
And we take this, and I'm just going to pour it in there, and we're going to stir this up real good. We're going to stir this up, and it's going to be a real, if you can see that, I'm not sure I'm right in the camera angle, but you can see that this is really liquefied. It's not a paste, if you will. It's really liquid. And that's what that hot water does with the cocoa and the sugar. And so we've got that ready. I do want to add, just for a little seasoning, or not seasoning, but a little vanilla to this mixture here. And I'll probably mix that back up just to make sure that it's in there real good. We'll do that. I'm going to spread it out again. You can see that it's kind of like that now. Here's the trick. To be a success with this, you do not mix this in with it. We're going to pour it over the top and put it in a microwave just like that. So I'm just going to pour it in, and this is what's going to give it that hot fudgy pudding type. So I'm just going to pour it in over it slowly, and I'm not going to stir it in at all. I'm just going to pour it over the top. What's going to happen is the flour and the things like that is going to start baking, and it's going to cover that. All right, Doug, let's just put that in the microwave and put it on 7 to 8 minutes. And as that is now cooking, we've got our muffins cooking here. We're going to make sure that that's still going at 350. I think they're looking pretty good. We're going to let them go a little bit longer. And I'm going to mix this meat up. As you can see now, it's getting close to being finished. And once it gets browned up, we'll bring the griddle up here and we'll start building these tacos. Got a lot happening. Doug, you got our cilantro and our tomatoes and stuff ready to roll?
Onions, tomatoes, ready to go. Peppers.
I tell you what you could do. You could throw all that in the bowl and take a lime and just slice the lime up and squeeze part of the lime into this little pico sauce, if you will. And that's just, I really don't like onions, so I won't eat the onions with it, but it's your choice and your preference. The good thing is, one thing I like about all of these, you can do this with your children. I'm a big advocate of doing things at home with your children. Get them involved in cooking, teach them some things. They can help build this. They can throw the shredded cheese. They love cracking the eggs. Throw it in there. Let them help you build some of these things, and it gives them some basic skills that maybe they can carry on later on. And you never know where it takes them. I know a student at the school that I teach at that got involved in cooking so much that now he's a chef. He's going to school to be a chef. So that's the case. You see this meat is really turning brown and looking pretty good. Doug's got this all mixed up and looks pretty good. Like I said, this is a taste preference. If you don't like tomatoes, don't put them in. If you don't like cilantro, don't add it. If you don't like peppers, don't put them in. You might want to use sweet peppers instead of, so you can use whatever you want to use. And that's the good thing about this. And it's going to go on as a topping on these tacos And I'm not going to put them directly on the tacos, and we'll show you how we do that just in a bit. Doug, we are about ready with this meat.
We got everything smelling, looking good, Jerry.
We got everything going on right now. Let's look at these. Let's look at these. That looks pretty good. Let's let them go a little longer. That cheese looks good. And we'll pull them out shortly. Is that the microwave, is it still rolling?
It just cut off.
Let's look at that. Let me see if that.
It didn't go 7 minutes.
Yeah, put it on there. Let's crank it up put it on 7 minutes and let's see what happens with it. I'm gonna cut this pan off and I'm gonna move this out of the way, Doug. And let's get this out of the way. Now, I want to, we're gonna get the griddle up here, but what I wanna do is drain this meat a little bit. I like to drain the meat just because I just think it's a little bit smoother, a little bit easier to deal with. And you can take it and pour it in here, or you can just take it and do it like this. But it's your preference. We've got the meat, and I'm just draining some of this stuff off, some of the fat off of it, make it a little bit healthier. And a lot of people do that. And it also, we're going to add some water to this and some seasoning. It's going to make it a little better. So that's what is happening right now. And as we do that, we'll get all this out. There we go. And you see we've got quite a bit of the fat that is done with that. Now, Doug, we need that other bowl. We need a bowl.
It's this bowl?
Yeah, that bowl will be working perfect. Then we're going to just take this meat and you can rinse it. A lot of people take these and rinse it under the sink and get it off, stuff like that. We're going to set that off to the side a little bit. And now we've got the meat here. Now, to season this meat, first thing we're going to do, we're going to throw in,
here you go.
There you go, my spoon. We're going to throw in 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. So we just want to set that in there. They're looking pretty good, aren't they?
Looking good.
We got it smelling pretty good in here too as well. 2 tablespoons of chili powder. We'll get that in there. And then 1 teaspoon of cumin is what we're putting into this. If you want to cheat, we're using the actual recipe, but if you want to cheat, you can go buy your favorite taco seasoning pack and do the same thing. I think this is just as good, and the cayenne pepper gives it a little kick, and I like to have a little kick with it. And so that's what we're doing with that. Doug, I'm going to let you kind of stir all that up, and I'm going to get this griddle over here going, so we can start building. So we can start building this. I want to start building these tacos. Plug that in, and I love using this griddle. I'm putting it on about 300, and what I like to do to keep this griddle going is I just take a stick of butter and do this. I just rub it on it. That's all I do. That's just real easy, and I just like, and the reason is it just gives the tortilla shell a little bit crunch to it, if you will, and it gives browns it a little bit. So I like doing that when I'm frying anything on this griddle. Now we're gonna build 2 kinds, and just for taste purposes, we're going to build, starting off with the corn. We're going to build some corn ones, and then we're going to build some flour ones. Some flour, just the flour ones, and a lot of I like. My grandson likes the flour ones better. I like the corn ones, so it's whatever preference. Doug, if you'll hand me that, I need some more shredded cheese. What we're going to do, I like cheese is good. I don't know who don't love cheese.
Cheese on cheese is good.
So we're going to sprinkle a little cheese on the bottom of 3 of these, and we've got, just sprinkle a little bit on the bottom. We're starting to cook, and just don't put them on them just yet.
Okay.
We're going to top it off in a second with the meat. So we've got the cheese on the bottom, which is always good. And then in a moment we're going to put, as these are cooking and they'll start browning up real good, this is the easy part of this. Get your children involved in this. Let them spoon in what they want. So literally all we're going to do is now take the meat that we've cooked and it's been seasoned, and we're just going to start piling it on. I like to smush it a little bit. I hear that sizzle.
I hear it.
That sizzling, that sounds good.
It does.
And we're just gonna pile this on. It is really a good. It might get a little messy. Fall it on your grill. You can't mess it up. It's just a good, easy, quick meal that you can make with your children, or you can make in a hurry, and everyone seems to like it. Pile on a little bit of this, the meat, and then we've got a lot left over, and then more cheese. You gotta love it. I like to put cheese on top of cheese, and let's layer it with that. And there's method behind this. The reason I like to do more cheese on top as it melts is because it almost acts like so we're going to take this one and put it on top. Now we're going to top it, and you see what's happening here. And when we get to that point, I just like to mash it down, and you can mash it into it, and you'll see it kind of squeezing out the sides. That's all right. It's all good. And that's what's happening with this. And as this is cooking, it's browning on the bottom, and what I'm going to do is, and I said, I like to add more butter and get it on the griddle, and then I'm going to flip these over. And you'll see that they're starting to brown on the sides. We've got 2 corn, and we've got 1 flour. And that's what's happening as this is going on. Our power shut down, but that's okay. Let's look at that hot fudge cake, Doug. See if we can get it out. Oh, yeah. Let's take that out. And if we can get our ice cream over here in a minute, we're about to plate this up, and we're going to be ready to go. Doug, have me a plate, and we've got this rolling.
Ready.
And I'm gonna take one of these out. I lost my spatula. Well, can't find my spatula. There it is, hid in front of me. All right, I'm gonna take one of these corn off.
Plate a couple.
I'm gonna set it right there. We'll take this and put it in the flour. Now
you could make these with grilled chicken or anything, right?
Exactly right. Chicken, anything you put in that makes it that you like. Now, to top this off, you can get fancy and cut these up if you want to. I like to take a little sour cream, Doug, and throw on mine, and then we'll take a little of the pico sauce, this here, and we'll spread it over the top of it just for a presentation. And you take some of the sour cream, and if you want sour cream, you can put on that, and you really have a pretty good looking plate of it's a beef taco quesadilla. Real simple to make. It's already plated up. We've got let's pull that out, Doug. Let's pull that out. Now, the power went off on the microwave, but on our oven,
Yeah,
but that's all right. What you'll see is it's still a little, the eggs are probably a little bit runny, but that's all right. If we can pop one of them out and put it in a thing, or just let it sit right there and let them see that. And I'm going to get this ice cream over here and scoop out a scoop. Now, I want you to see this. Just turn that over. Doug, we can get another. We
do have.
Here, we can do this right here.
There you
It's
go.
all right.
All right.
We got 3 of them right there. I'm cutting that off. We're going to cut that off. Power off. We've got this all finished up. Now for dessert, if you'll hand me a bowl, we're just going to scoop a little of this hot fudge, and you'll see that it's really fudgy, and you can't mess this up and get some of the fudge, and you see it right there. And then we take a little of the ice cream. And that's pretty good stuff. What we have for you today, you see the muffins, low carb, no carbs at all in them. You've got bacon, ham, cheese, and bacon bits. We've got the beef taco quesadillas, already ready to go. And the hot fudge cake pudding. Yum, yum, we're ready to eat. Cooking with a Coach, Jerry Lowry, Doug Randolph. Join us next time.